Why is no contact so powerful to get your ex back? Why does it raise your ex's interest level? Why does it make you more attractive? Well, stay tuned and you'll find out. Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back and to get over your ex. Welcome back, No Contact Army. Have you been a good little soldier? Well, if you have, then you've stayed in no contact with the help of my app, Silencio. And you can find the link to that underneath every single video and podcast. And if you too would like to join our beautiful No Contact Army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and you're in. And to read our manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can read 2 free chapters before you purchase the book. Okay, so why do you become more attractive when you do no contact? Well, think of it this way. Just as your ex is now more attractive and desirable to you because they stepped away from you, you also become more attractive when you take a step back. And that step back for the person who was dumped, probably you, means that you do not attempt to contact your ex, because everyone who breaks up with someone, they expect resistance from their ex, and they expect them to contact them at some point. And when you go against that, we'll call it a natural law, you instantly become more attractive because your ex is going to wonder why. Why did you not fall in line and do what 99% of people naturally do after a breakup? Well, little do they know that you joined the No Contact Army. That space creates desire. When someone doesn't need you, that's attractive. Everyone has a desire to be free, and when you feel that someone needs you, you feel a loss of freedom because now you have to take that other person's feelings into consideration. You're not totally free to do what you want. And of course, that's fine when you're in a relationship, but when your interest has gone down or when you're no longer with that person, their neediness, in this case, continuing to contact them, it feels like a prison. And when you're not needy after you've been dumped, you become more attractive because now the person feels free when they think about you. They're not thinking, oh God, is he going to call me again? Is she going to text me again? You're not doing anything. So they're going to feel great, at least in the beginning. But then they're going to start to get curious, and they may even feel guilty for dumping you. So they'll reach out to find out what the heck is going on. And this is when the breadcrumbs start. And if you've been listening to me for a while, then you know that we don't respond to breadcrumbs. And in fact, I did a whole video on breadcrumbs, and I will put the link on YouTube in the upper right-hand corner. When you do no contact and you leave your ex alone, the unspoken message that you're sending is that you are no longer relying on them for your happiness or validation. You may want them in your life, but you don't need them. This is attractive because it shows inner strength, and we all want to be with someone who's mentally and emotionally strong instead of someone whose feelings we constantly have to babysit and walk on eggshells. And someone who isn't always available has a magnetic pull. So by stepping back and leaving them alone, you're giving them a chance to recognize your value in their life. And they can't do that if you're still in touch after the breakup. Distance raises desirability. That's why long-distance relationships are often very exciting, because you don't have access to that person 24/7. You can't just drive over to their house at the spur of the moment. So when you are no longer answering their texts or calls, your value goes up. By being in no contact, you're showing that you're not needy, because neediness always repels, whether it's in business or personal relationships. And constantly needing approval or validation pushes people away. So the more that you take a step back and just let things happen naturally, the more likely you are to get the outcome you're looking for, which in this case is to get your ex back. By creating space when you're stepping back, you're also creating desire. It shows that you know your worth and you're comfortable with the space that currently exists between you and your ex. When you take a step back, you allow your ex to take a step forward. You give them a chance to miss you and recognize your value. And when that happens, attraction is inevitable. Your ex can't help but be more attracted to you, even if outwardly it would seem that they still feel the same about you and don't want to have anything to do with you, or very little to do with you. But meanwhile, we don't know what's simmering under the surface. Being able to go no contact and stay in no contact, it shows emotional restraint. You can't control your emotions, but you can control the reactions to your emotions. However, most people have not learned how to do this and are very reactive. That's why people often hate to break up with their partner in person, because they anticipate an emotional confrontation and they want to avoid that, especially if they're an avoidant. However, if you controlled yourself when your ex broke up with you and continued to do that after the breakup by leaving them alone and giving them the breakup, that instantly makes you more attractive. And as I mentioned in my video about my breakup titled, well, My Breakup, I'll put the link in the upper right-hand corner. When the guy broke up with me, I immediately answered with a text saying I agreed with the breakup and I wished him the best. And guess who reached out 2 weeks later? No, it wasn't me. It was him. So not being reactive and stepping back is a sign of strength. And who doesn't want to be with someone who's strong, right? They can't help but respect you. And your ex can't be attracted to you and want you back unless they respect you. There's many people who would have gotten their ex back if they had just shut up and left them alone instead of constantly hounding them to get back together. But unfortunately, they didn't, and they ruined their chances. So the person who's calm and in control is very magnetic. And when you go no contact and stick to it, that's exactly where you'll be. The great thing is that the more you practice restraint in all aspects of your life, the easier it is to do. That way, the next time someone breaks up with you, hopefully there won't be a next time, but if there is, then you wouldn't dream of being reactive. You'll actually be proactive, accept the breakup with class and dignity, wish them well, and it's quite possible that they will immediately start to regret breaking up with you, because we can't help but be naturally drawn to people who are so self-assured that they can handle a breakup like that. And the number one quality that people look for in a partner is confidence. Nothing shows confidence more than being rejected and willingly accepting the rejection and walking away in silence. What you're doing is you're sending the silent message that your value does not depend on someone's approval and presence in your life. And this especially holds true if you have an anxious attachment style and you were anxious and needy in the relationship. Your ex is going to wonder, what the heck happened all of a sudden? Whereas before you couldn't stay away from them, and now you're not needy. And that curiosity will make them reach out sooner rather than later. And if you then ignore their messages, unless it's something significant, their desire and attraction for you can only go up. It's like you're a totally different person. They'll ask themselves, who are they? What happened? I don't even recognize them anymore. And it's funny because my coaching clients, I tell them what to say when they're texting with an ex and if they have to interact with them. And more often than not, the ex will say something like, why are you acting weird? Why are you acting like this? I've never heard you talk like this before. They're confused because, well, it's not their ex's words that they're reading or hearing. It's my words through my client. But hey, they don't know that. So they're confused. And they start to question themselves and whether they made the right decision and breaking up. And that's the first step to getting back together. When it comes to relationships, the less you need someone, the more likely they are to want to stay with you or to come back. As I've mentioned in another video before, the two guys who wanted to marry me were the guys I did the least for. I was never needy in any sense of the word. I never complained about how much or how little time we spent together because I'm always busy doing my own thing. And the only reason we broke up was because I was the one who didn't want to commit. It's a law of human nature that people value what's not easily obtainable. And when you do no contact and don't respond to breadcrumbs, you're no longer easily obtainable. And yes, I know they broke up with you and don't want you anymore. However, in the back of every dumper's mind, they feel that they could easily get their ex back if they wanted to. So by staying silent, the message you're giving is that no, you're actually not so easily attainable anymore. You're no longer a sure thing. And I think that has a lot to do with ego. It's like, what? How dare you not be available for me at the drop of a hat when I'm the one who dumped you? I'm going to change your mind and you're going to get back to being that person who needed me and wanted me. You're now a challenge. So when you're dating someone, what is more intriguing? Someone who constantly bombards you with texts every day, or the person who rarely texts or calls? You're going to be interested in the second person, the one who rarely texts or calls. Not because of what they say and do, but because of what they don't say and do. We're just naturally attracted to people who don't need us. The second person isn't clawing for attention and approval, so they come across as a blessing, not a burden. And hey, who couldn't use more blessings in their life, right? So remember, the less you chase, the more you attract. When you make yourself hard to access, you become more desirable. So stop giving your time, energy, and attention to just anyone, especially someone who dumped you. When you're not attached to the outcome often falls in your favor. The universe favors the bold. So get out there, be bold, and stay in no contact until your ex says something significant. And now I'd like to hear from you. How long have you been in no contact and how is it going? And if you would like my help to get your ex back, you can contact me at theartoflove.net and we will send you the rates. And the direct link to that is underneath every single video and podcast. And I am available 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to this as a podcast, please rate and review. And finally, remember, love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.